In 2019, we celebrated our 10-year anniversary, right? So we are just coming off that amazing high. We had about 12 to 15,000 people that came.
We were approximately 130 shows, somewhere around there. We filled 35,000 plus seats in 11 days.
Normally, over festival weekend, we see up to 400,000 people. And then the parade brings in at least 150,000.
We get about 10,000 people plus staff and some comp tickets, so we figure it's about 11,000.
We get about 25,000 people over the weekend.
Black Pride has been going on for 20 years, and each year we do something completely different.
Most of our plans are put into place by December, even though our festival is in August.
We start conversations with bands sometimes years before.
We start vendor registration for our festival January 2nd.
Logistics actually start in December.
We'll do a pre-sale with the headliner in December. Then we go on sale sometime in the spring.
We have approximately 140 artists from across the country.
We got 8 bands over the course of that day, 5 of them on the large stage, 3 of them on the smaller stage.
We had probably 300 vendors registered for the festival, and then came March. and it was like, oh, okay, plan B.
We went on sale for Rock the Garden 2020 on, I think it was March 10th. I think by March 13th, everything was shutting down.
It was Friday the 13th, March 13th, I remember specifically.
Everything came to a screeching halt.
One by one, weekend by weekend, shows are being canceled.
At some point, we were like, there's no way we're gonna be able to pull this off, even if, they turn on the, A-OK tomorrow.
We didn't have the luxury of shutting down and then just opening back up a week before the festival. There are too many moving parts.
You got to talk to the city, you got to rent the park, you got to get down payments, you got to get porta potties.
With park board and with all of our permits and everything, it's like, all right, we just have to decide.
By April 15th or so, we had to cancel.
At that point, we decided to do virtual.
We decided to not shut down the festival, but essentially pivot to a different type of an experience, knowing that the unknown was still going to be around in October when we had originally planned the festival.
As a means of fundraising, we decided to do something online. So we did this really quick pivot.
We ended up doing a virtual marketplace for our vendors, and we tried to do a virtual parade.
We knew that we wanted to evolve as an organization and have more digital presence anyway. So we've been thinking about some sort of not necessarily a streaming platform at the level that we have now, but some sort of a digital platform. We reached out to all of our past alumni filmmakers. We said, hey, I know you had a film at our festival a handful of years ago. What is it doing right now? Is it just sitting there? Does it have distribution?
We invited the community to submit little snippets of video that we could string together.
It was the best we could throw together in 3 months, but it was fun.
That test went really well. We had about 40 filmmakers jump on board, and that gave us a runway that we needed to prep ourselves for a new version of the festival.
For our virtual marketplace, there were just a few hundred people.
We had more attendance than we had originally expected. So we had about 7,000 people watch our content online. We grew from a geographical standpoint. Our webmaster was like, somebody just signed in from Japan. Somebody just signed in from Australia. Somebody just signed in from Canada.
We started engaging with artists that had never been to Minnesota and may never come to Minnesota. But they had figured out how to create an online theatrical performance, and they were applying and participating, and that was kind of exciting. It was a new way to engage with artists.
We thought it was a great idea. The world didn't like it. We were really, really frustrated. Frustration in that we weren't able to create something for the community that they wanted.
2020 was a very limited online, various platforms. But when we were planning for 2021, there was still so much uncertainty.
In the back of our minds, we were hoping that we could be at the park at a regular and have a regular festival.
That was the plan in 2020. We'll be back in 2021. It'll be great. Then that didn't happen either.
It was November of 2020 when we canceled Rock the Garden 2021. We need to have a lot of conversations with bands and figure out where we are by that time, or we're not going to be able to do the show. So we couldn't really hold on and just wait and wait.
The permit process was slowed down substantially. They're having to make their legal decisions too, and logistical decisions.
They got rid of all the porta potties. Who would think of something like that, that there would be no porta potties left to do your festival? Each thing that we had on our list was slowly just taken off because we couldn't do whatever that was.
The crowd size that you could have at events kept changing. You know, when we're used to 400,000 people and being told that, oh, you can have 250 people, it was just like a non-starter.
We have to sell a lot of tickets to pay to break even. If we reduced our capacity to 50%, we're losing money on the event. There's no way for that to work.
A lot of arts organizations, not just the Fringe, run on a very thin margin. Looking at 50% of our income disappearing was frightening.
There were moments of like, oh boy, you know, it was good 10 years. It was good. It was good. Yeah, it was good.
There were many moments when I had like day nightmares and night nightmares that this was the end of the Fringe.
We all had that internal conversation of like, is this it?
I did not want to be tasked with that responsibility of shutting down a beloved institution. It felt very stressful and very lonely.
Then you go like, but it's not over though, is it? No, it's not over. No, if I can help it, it's not over.
We needed to raise $100,000 in order to save our institution. It was approximately what we would have taken in after paying artists and staff. So it was just the bare minimum to keep us afloat. Donations made the difference. And we were able to raise $100,000 by the time we would have had the festival.
We actually saw an increase in personal giving. I wept a couple of times when we got a couple of checks that we weren't expecting. All the financial assistance that I got just reinforced on why this is an important part of the community.
People were concerned about dollars and sustaining Fringe as a business entity. And I think about those things, but it was more than that for me, and I wanted them to think about the people who make this happen, because many of them are 1099 workers and didn't have access to funds through PPP or unemployment. When we put the word out there that these people needed help, the community showed up, and I just hope that that feeling continues once we come back into the theater spaces.